been a while, hasn't it? Hearing of The Division Resurgence piques the interest of many in the gaming community. It feels like only yesterday hearing about Ubisoft's new project being brought to their E3 presentation back in 2013. This is Ubisoft's attempt to reach out and dip their fingers into the ever-growing and demanding market of mobile gaming. If you're seeking for something truly interesting and groundbreaking in terms of gameplay content and more, then you might want to temper down your expectations. After all, Ubisoft is well known for disappointing you at every opportunity. Throughout the 12 hours of private server testing, I was asked repeatedly from curious viewers and friends wondering why I was able to play the game and download it, but they were not. The straight up short answer is that this game is not accessible to players who use older devices. Despite the fact that there are settings that allow you to reduce the quality of the game to look like shit, you cannot play this game unless you have a recent or new phone, especially one of the iPhone 15s. And I'm not really sure if this is going to factor into the full release, but for the time being, you can either buy a new device or try to set up and use the lesser supported BlueStacks, since you don't really have any other options currently. So I can't say much about the visuals because I'm one of the few players who does not upgrade their devices until they are physically unusable. This game brought back memories of The Division for me. I mean this in the sense that it's the exact same environment, the exact same dark zone, with filler gun sounds and shouting in the distance, in an empty open world to explore with the occasional run-in with other gamers. Simply with certain things deleted and the same Ubisoft-styled gameplay. Ubisoft is very aware that they can make a lot more money with less effort rather than producing polished games. It's much easier for them to make a generic open world housing points of interest to keep you occupied but not fully satiated on the game alone, which is why we see so many copy-pasted games from them as developers. It just works, so they do it. When you're not running half a kilometer to the next location or loading it with quick travels, the game is surprisingly entertaining and engrossing. I was actually pretty concerned about how it would feel on a mobile device, but it actually seemed very natural as long as you used a gamepad or a keyboard and mouse to play it. I found that the combat isn't up to the quality that I would expect it to or want it to be, as it was more simplified than the original two games. But that's because it's coming from a mobile device, and of course the limitations that they have. I have to say that this is one of the best mobile FPS games that I've played in a long time. Plans, crafting, missions, dailies, incentives to log in, and plenty of min-maxing across 4 playable classes are among the many features that you can engage in. Due to the fact that it's on a mobile device, I believe that it's a good game to enjoy in short bursts, but not for lengthy periods of time. As a result, it's ideal for commuting and lunch breaks or maybe a quick mission before bed. I'm not a huge fan of Ubisoft and I'm not a huge fan of The Division, even though I had over 200 hours in the first game, because they lied to our faces years ago and they still haven't supplied and they will never provide us anything close to what they promised us. When there are other games out there that show you what can be done and they give you what you actually want, it really makes you wonder what could have and should have been if these developers didn't care so much about saving money and instead focused on providing the users with the features and content that they wanted. Regardless of my own opinions about the developers and their games, I liked it for what it was for a while, but the constraints of it being on a mobile device with the gamepad and keyboard support made no sense to me, as it made me want to play it on PC instead, which just feels like another slap in the face from Ubisoft.